Welcome to another installment of Deconstructing Babylon, where we discern the signs and symbols of the mystery religion of Hollywood Babylon. I'm the Discerning Clerk, and I use a biblical framework to deconstruct my favorite movies from the 90s. I spoke about my faith journey in earlier videos, but it's been a while, so I wanted to give a few brief points about it. I did grow up going to church, even saying I grew up in a Christian family, but never really made a decision for Christ until my early 20s. It was still about 8 years after my baptism in 2004 before I even opened my Bible. I brought it to Sunday service every week and thought I had a pretty good idea of what it said and what it meant, until I felt such an urgency to start to read my Bible, so much so I believed I would die spiritually if I didn't. When churches shut down in 2020, I started praying more fervently, asking more questions about what I believed and why, and looking to the whole Bible for answers. And I found Yahweh to be so faithful to His Word, and His Spirit truly opened my eyes and my heart to the truth found within. I started this channel almost 2 years ago with the idea not to teach what I was learning from the Bible necessarily, but to encourage other believers to question what they've been taught, not just from their pastor, but from the world and its systems, because I now view the modern church as a worldly system, a religious organization that looks nothing like the set-apart disciples Messiah intended to build. The church has always been a people, and never a building. I view Hollywood, politics, the schools, and the music industry the same way, just without the mask of religion. But even then, I suppose it can be considered a religious system that demands our worship and sacrifice. My goal with my content is to point you to God's Word, His written Word, the Bible, and His spoken Word made flesh, His only begotten Son and our Savior. Okay, let's get on with it. The Birdcage is today's selection, a remake of a French film, La Cage aux Folles, which also inspired 2 film sequels and a Broadway musical. Folle, in French, does not mean bird. The title directly translated means the cage of the madwomen, and folle, in colloquial French, means effeminate gay man, according to IMDb trivia. The Birdcage receives 3.5 stars from the Video Movie Guide, which says, American version of La Cage aux Folles lacks some of the poignance and hilarity of the original. However, this remake has a number of high points, particularly in the performances of Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, and Gene Hackman. Williams and Lane are a gay couple who must go straight to fool Hackman, a conservative politician whose daughter is engaged to Williams' son. Rated R. Nathan Lane is very funny in this, but my favorite is Hank Azaria. All right, let's see what we see in The Birdcage. The movie starts on the sea, and the bustling skyline of Miami cuts through the dark. We zoom in on a green light club with the titular name. If you've seen any of my other deconstructions, you know I call this particular shade Disney Villain Green, because it is so often associated with many Disney villains. Inside the packed nightclub, a group of drag performers lip sync on the stage. We meet Armand Goldman, club owner and husband to Albert, whose drag stage name is Starina, the main draw and act at the Birdcage.
Albert!
Immediately, I notice the black and white duality in Armand's clothes, and I can't help but be intrigued by the gold masks on the wall in the dressing room. Could be some Greek gods. It certainly isn't the only Greek reference we'll get. Albert and Armand live in a luxurious apartment above the club, and they have a flamboyant housekeeper named Agador Spartacus. Albert is emotional and hesitant to go on stage, which seems to be a regular occurrence.
That sarcastic, contemptuous tone that means you know everything because you're a man and I know nothing because I'm a woman.
You're not a woman.
Oh.
As Albert prepares to transform into Starina, he accuses Armand of having an affair, based on a bottle of white wine he found in the fridge. Indeed, Armand is preparing to meet another man while Albert is on stage, his college-age son, Val.
I'm getting married.
It's difficult to know if Armand is disappointed that Val is engaged because he's too young or too straight.
This is too crazy. You do this, you're on your own.
Of course, Armand supports his son in his decision, but in the other family, support is not immediately given. We meet young Barbara, Val's fiancée, and her ultra-conservative senator father, Kevin Keeley, and straight-laced mother, Louise. They don't take too kindly to the news their young daughter is marrying a man they haven't even met yet, and they also think she's too young to get married.
Look,
This will have to wait till after the election. I can't deal with this now.
Barbara does some fancy wordsmithing with her parents regarding Val's parents, hoping to impress them with their vocation and proximity to the Bush family.
It's about 2 minutes from Fisher Island, where Jeb Bush lives.
First, the Kennedys were mentioned, and now the Bushes, famous political family dynasties. Albert is the last to find out about the engagement, and he definitely thinks Val is too young to get married. Frankly, none of the parents are wrong in their concern. Val is 20, and Barbara is only just 18. And none of them have even met the other family they are marrying into.
Armand, our baby is going to leave us, and we won't have any others.
Not without a miracle.
Back at the senator's house, it becomes clear that Kevin is running for re-election in his state, and he's also co-founder of a strong moral Republican platform. He stands against abortion, pornography, and same-sex marriage.
I'm the vice president of the Coalition for Moral Order.
Until his other co-founder dies in a morally compromised position. A large group of reporters converge on the senator's home to expand on their coverage of the dead Senator Jackson, his co-running mate. Louise proposes spinning the scandal with a virginal wedding of their daughter, hoping it will provide a much-needed distraction.
If necessary, we'll get the Pope's blessing. It's not hard.
I know. He's too controversial. Well, Billy Graham. No, he's too liberal.
Well, now, we know the Pope is decidedly Catholic, and Billy Graham did come around to a more universalist view later in his life and ministry. But he refused to back JFK for president because of his Catholic faith. Graham was also outspoken against homosexuals and Jews, which is where Val's family firmly lands.
This boy, what's his father's name?
Armand? Coleman?
Barbara lies to her parents about marrying a Jewish boy, and the highly scrutinized family decide to travel to Palm Beach. And Val needs to prepare his extremely unorthodox parents to receive the ultra-conservative in-laws.
Well, she told him that you were the cultural attaché to Greece and Albert was a housewife.
Val tries to justify his young fiancé's lies to Armand and convince him to go along with it. And that includes changing their apartment decor and getting rid of Albert for the duration of the Keeleys' visit.
Not for this.
You've done it before.
What? Lied about who I am? Never.
Despite his hurt feelings, Armand decides it's best for Val to de-gay his apartment and relationship. And as the Keeleys drive from Ohio to South Florida, they're also being followed by reporters, tipped off by their chauffeur. Meanwhile, a team of drag queens do their best to make the apartment above the Birdcage more conservative, including turning Agador into a proper butler.
What is that? I got it from the antique store across the street. 2 bucks?
Don't add.
Instead of sending Albert away, Armand thinks he can help him pass as straight with the Keeleys, like it's another performance.
Armand Goldman, you old so-and-so. How about those dolphins? Screaming Queen?
If Albert can play straight for the night, they still think that having a mother figure there will help to take some of the maternal pressure off. So they ask Val's biological mother to step in, a boss lady named Catherine Archer.
Are you still with Albert?
Yes, we're still together.
Catherine agrees to attend the dinner, and Agador puts the finishing touches on the apartment.
Are we crucifying someone tonight?
Do you like it? I traded that stupid moose head for it. And look, they threw in books.
It's ironic because they're Jewish, and Barbara has lied to her parents about them being Jewish for some reason.
Shouldn't you be holding the crucifix? It is the prop for martyrs.
As the Keeleys prepare to arrive, all the men in Miami put on a suit. Nobody thinks this will work. The Keeleys arrive finally to an awkward exchange.
A very forceful handshake, Mr. Coleman.
Well, you have to in Greece.
Val explains his mother is en route, and the future in-laws sit in near silence. While outside, the Miami nightlife is heating up, and the crowd at the Birdcage is starting to form. The reporters from Ohio have followed the senator, wondering what he's even doing in Palm Beach.
It's just so magical to me to come from the north, where it's cold, to the south, where it's warm.
The group continue to wait awkwardly for Catherine to arrive, and the senator begins to get suspicious. Until Albert walks in full housewife drag, much to the horror of Armand and Val.
Come here and give me a hug. Oh, don't be afraid. Oh, how adorable. She's shy.
Albert does a marvelous job convincing the Keeleys he's a real woman, though he never gives them a name. Not Starina, not Alberta. Regardless, Kevin becomes enamored with him and his family. Though he thinks the awkward tension is due to the Senator Jackson situation, and not because everyone is pretending to be someone they're not.
She's a very passionate woman who follows her heart, and I just love her.
The reporters who followed them are actually with the tabloid, the National Enquirer, and they are getting their headline regarding the conservative senator, visiting a gay couple above a drag club.
Barbara, Albert is not my mother. He's a drag queen.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that.
Speaking of Val's mother, they try to head Catherine off, but the press intervene. And they're also multiplying, all converging on Palm Beach to catch another senator in a scandal. It's all about to come apart. They can't keep up the charade much longer, and the Keeley suspicions are mounting, if misplaced.
Something very strange is going on.
I know.
Catherine finally arrives, confusing the situation all the more, when Val eventually comes clean to his future in-laws.
This is my mother.
Not just that he has two dads, but that they own the Birdcage and they're Jewish.
I don't understand.
As the conservative Keeleys attempt to leave, they're met with reporters, as the street below fills with media hoping to get a scoop. In the club below, the reporters move in and the queens move out. Armand gathers a few in order to camouflage the Keeleys. And I couldn't help but notice everyone is dressed in dual black and white again.
I told him white would make me look fat.
They all easily slip past the reporters undetected. The movie ends with a wedding, just like all of history will end with a wedding. The bride in white, the ready bridegroom.
Mazel tov.
As a sign of your union, you may kiss the bride.
So there was a surprising amount of religious commentary here. The Catholic iconography almost seemed like a red herring. The mention of the Pope and the crucifix were meant to distract us in a way. The wedding at the end was not a Jewish Catholic wedding. It was a Jewish Protestant wedding, though it can easily be argued that Protestantism is the daughter of Catholicism. But it was never very clear why the bride had to lie to her father about Armand and Val being Jewish. Not that the family were devout Jews. They only bring up Val's bar mitzvah, and he wears a yarmulke at the wedding. But not even Armand wears one, or he doesn't seem to. Essentially, it all came down to the last name, Goldman, which means exactly what it says. But my research tells me that it's a name of German origin, which seems ironic. Yet Barbara still marries the Goldman boy without converting to Judaism herself. There was still some duality, but not in the way we normally see it. I very much consider the religious aspects here to be two sides of the same coin. Jew on one side, Protestant on the other. But that's also how I view the American political parties. The families weren't opposed to each other. They were closer in ideals than they thought. Republican on one side, Democrat on the other, nuclear family on one side, gay family on the other, one from the north, one from the south. And they don't meet in the middle. The north comes down, which is very indicative of the split nations of Israel and Judah. The northern kingdom Israel, the southern kingdom Judah. However, I don't consider the religion of Judaism to be the way, and I don't consider the Zionist nation of Israel to be God's chosen people. As I said in the beginning, the church was always a people, never a building. In the same way, Israel was always a people, the inheritance of Yahweh, never the land or political system or country. There was an element of Greece that was also constant throughout. And that spoke more truth to me than anything, because nearly all of Israel during the time of Messiah was considered Hellenized, as Greece was the world power. This is why they tell us that most of the New Testament in the Bible was written in Greek, though I personally doubt that very much. The word Gentile still means Israel, just the Hellenized people who lived in the northern kingdom. Jew literally comes from the southern kingdom that included the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. And Jewish, I think, means practicers of the Judaism religion. Overall, this movie is less about duality and more about mixing. The Birdcage had gender mixing, political mixing, religious mixing, as if to say, we're not so different, you and I, which is precisely what Yahweh didn't want for his people. He wants them set apart, a pure, unblemished people for his name, and a pure, unblemished bride for his son. So that's enough for today. Thank you for enduring to the end. Give the video a thumbs up if you agree and a thumbs down if you disagree. Comment below what you think I missed with this one and to suggest any 90s movie you'd like me to deconstruct in the future. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content like this, but don't follow me. Follow the one who saves you. And until next time, keep looking up.
You do an eclectic celebration of the dance. You do fussy, fussy, fussy. You do Martha Graham, Martha Graham, Martha Graham. Or Twyla, Twyla, Twyla. Or Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd. Or Madonna, Madonna, Madonna. But you keep it all inside.